Hello, YouTube! I'm Megumi Mary, the transgender gamer girl with a heart of gold, love for all things nerdy, and today we are doing a light review of Bojack Horseman Season 5. First off, since I haven't done anything about Bojack Horseman on this channel yet, I just want to preference this with Bojack Horseman is easily one of the best made TV shows I've ever seen. And to segue into this review, this season does a great job of adding on to what makes Bojack Horseman such an amazing series. I honestly think the show keeps getting better. This season is even better than the last, which I honestly thought was going to be hard to top because I thought season 4 was perfect. And this season's pretty much flawless too. I mean, I could easily find a nitpick or two, but as far as the storytelling, the direction of the season, how well they hit on current topics in today's political world, specifically in America, I think they did a really solid job with this season all around. And I could sing its praises as much as I want, but at the end of the day, it's great. The storytelling, like always, is spot on. You've got a couple of standout episodes. I'm going to try to remain as spoiler-free as possible. But there is this one episode, Free Churro, that is easily the best episode of the show yet. In fact, I loved this episode so much, I'm probably going to do a separate video about what makes that episode so perfect. And it just really capitalizes on a lot of the great things about the show. It does a great job of balancing the drama and the comedy. It also has a great way of playing around with old sitcom stereotypes and tropes. It's got that lovable, dark humor that we've just grown accustomed to from this show. And it hits on some really good story beats. It also brings up the topic about how about whether or not shows like this are good because they portray a very realistic version of the human condition, and if that just makes people think it's okay to be flawed to the point where they don't need to consider themselves responsible for their actions. The show does a really great way of taking a deep dive into the triumphs and pitfalls of what makes a person, and honestly, it's great. It also does a great job of addressing the Me Too movement, and its biggest storyline has to be that of addiction, which Bojack Horseman has definitely dabbled in the topic of addiction several times, but they really took a good dive into it this season in particular. And it was really great because they did capitalize on one of the biggest crises in America right now, the opioid epidemic. The characters are really great. They're constantly evolving. They're constantly getting better. And what was originally considered one-note characters are evolving and changing, and they got so many layers to them that it never ceases to amaze me. Mr. Peanut Butter in particular, I really liked his whole character arc this season, especially because in terms of personality, I very much relate to that character with his overly positive, upbeat attitude, and there are other sides to my personality that they did a good dive into this season with him, and again, I just really liked his character arc. Some other notes is symbolism, as always in the show, is pretty good. They did a great episode towards the end that kind of plays with the expectations of reality. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they do one of these episodes each season. One where it's like, you kind of like, where something happens and you kind of lose grip with what's really going on, and they play around with the human psyche and how it perceives the world around them. So, I don't know if season 2 did something, but I remember distinctly that they did that in the second to last episodes of seasons 1, 3, 4, and now this one. I guess that's all I really have to say. I honestly can't wait until season 6 comes around. But let's face it, this season just came out and we have a whole year to wait for. But everything in this show just hits. It's, again, just great TV, great storytelling. And if you haven't watched this season yet, I highly recommend you get around to it as soon as possible. So thank you very much for listening to my little review of this season. I would like to cap this off with a rating. I'm going to give this an A+. Because I think, like, this is mandatory TV viewing. It is just it's the kind of show that is, I would honestly recommend everyone watch. Because it's just so well-rounded. But overall, that's all I really have to say about it. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Don't stop being awesome.